Today I'm working on this Dewalt pressure washer I picked up. Has a Honda GX200 6.5 horsepower. So I bought it basically for parts because the original owner said it wasn't running right. And when I got it home, I put it on the table, obviously, to check the oil. And I pulled the dipstick out, which is right here. And oil started pouring out. So I think that they put way too much oil in. You see it all just pour out right there? So I think they put way too much oil in, or the gas is leaking through the carburetor. They left the gas on and it's leaking through the carburetor into the block. But I have a feeling they just put a whole quart of oil in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain the oil, put fresh oil in it. They only take 0.6 of a liter, and I'm just gonna use some 1030 oil. So the drain plug is on this side. It's right there. It's a 10 millimeter. I'll put an adjustable ratchet on there, or ratcheting wrench on there. It'll drain through the hole into my pan. So let's drain this oil and go from there. One thing you know if you work on pressure washers is you cannot run it without water. So I am actually going to take off the pressure washer so I can actually bench run this machine. Matter of these 4 bolts. And the oil's draining at this time, so it takes a little while for this oil to drain out. I loosened up the filler cap on this side to allow air in. Got my little magnetic tray from Harbor Freight for my bolts. And this being a Honda, everything's metric. Okay, that's the 4. Pull the pump off. And the keyway stayed inside. So now I'll be able to run the engine once I put the new oil in it without any damage to the pump. And these sure do make a mess when you go to drain the oil. So let's tip it, try to get a little more out. All right, so here's a dipstick. Like I said when I took it out. So it goes in, and that's just to tell where your oil is. And that's also where you fill it. It's on that side. They're plastic, so just make sure you don't cross thread it. So now I got to get the drain plug back in. And then I got to wipe up all this oil. That's all over the place down there. I got to do this without dropping it in the oil pan. So let's do this. Take the oil pan out, put a rag underneath there. Should probably just take this tire off. Got it started. Make it snug. Wipe all the oil off. You can see, I think that's way more. I think that's a whole quart. Doesn't appear to be any gas in it. It's about this consistency that it should be. So I'm gonna put this back underneath it, get some brake cleaner. That is going to drip oil for a little while. There's a little hole gap underneath the engine. That oil bathtub goes underneath right there. And then it just keeps dripping for hours and days. So I like getting that out of there as much as possible. All right, so let's put some more oil, new engine oil in there. So here's your dipstick. And it's 0.6 of a quart of oil. So basically the way I do it is I put enough oil into it so it just comes to the threads right there without spilling out. So basically if it spills out, you have that much too much in there. So clean my funnel, make sure there's nothing in it. .6 is hard to measure. So add a little. And you can see the oil is right to the tip there, right to the edge. And that should be good. I'm gonna put a little bit more just to make sure. see if it comes out. Yeah, it's starting to come out. So that's good. Take your dipstick, wipe it off real good. And you can see that the oil is right there. So put the cap back on, finger tight. Don't break it. They don't have to be super tight. They do vibrate loose, so you do have to check that sometimes. All right, so these engines actually have one on each side. So depending on the configuration, if you can't get to it on this side because of whatever the engine's in, they have it on the other side also. So you can check either side. On off switch, I'm actually going to move the tools off the table so nothing vibrates off. Gas on, choke on, switches on. That engine starts really nice. I'm gonna check the oil again, make sure if there's overflow, let it come out. So let's go back on the other side and we're gonna check the air cleaner. So obviously that is not a original wing nut on there. I don't think I have any. I'll check though. Well, yeah, I could take one off another engine. Oh, there it is. There's not even an air cleaner in it. Look at that. Very good to know. That's why you always check when you buy something. And this throttle is too loose. So we're going to tighten that up also. See if we can get that throttle to stay where I set it. Oh, that's also a 10. Where's that 10? Where's the 10? Yeah, that's better. The engine runs good, so I don't want to mess with that. So let's try it. Turn the choke on. That gas in there has got to be at least 2 to 3 years old, and I am actually happy that it's actually running with that gas on there. So this is a 200. Let me see if I have a air cleaner for this. I'll be right back. So put that on there. The dimple, there's a little dimple right there. Goes right there. So that sits there. This will sit there. I have a wing nut from the spare engine that I got the air filter from. That's good. That back on. And put the cover on. Let's check this spark plug while we're here. Spark plug is going to be a 5/8 spark plug socket. Let's see the condition of this. It is a little warm because I just ran it. Looks okay, but let me go see if I have another one. Let me check my pile there. So I checked, I do not have a new spark plug on hand, but I cleaned it up with a little brake cleaner. Took a little 1000 grit sandpaper, just to clean it up a little bit in there. Put this thing back in. Snug, not too tight. Put the wire back on. Let's try starting it again. Power on, choke on. Take the choke off. So that actually runs really nice. Let me put this stuff away so I don't lose it. Take the oil. Put the socket back. So let me put these away and then we'll put the pump back on it. So if you look inside the pump, there's actually a set screw. And there's access ports for the set screw right on top and on bottom. So obviously the set screw wasn't holding because I was able to pull it off no problem without loosening it. So we are going to see if I can get that set screw to the top so I can make it a little easier for me. Okay, so I got the keyway facing up, got the keyway in here facing up, I got the set screw loosened all the way out. There that is. That went on nice. Tighten up that set screw. Just snug. good. Where'd those bolts go? They were on the floor, right? Yep. I don't even know if this pump works. If this pump works, I want to put it on my heated pressure washer. Well, let's go hook it up to the garden hose. I don't even know if this gun works. Well, let's try it. Power on, squeeze the nozzle. Let's try without a choker. Well, I'm gonna call that one a great marketplace find for $50. Cleaned it up, drained the old oil out. The guy had way too much oil in there. And as you saw, once I drained the oil out, The gas, that's still his old gas too. And he said he hasn't been able to get it to run good for a couple years. The throttle loosened up, so I tightened up the throttle. So that way the throttle stays at where you set it. New oil. Ran some nice clean water through the pump. Got the hose with it, and the gun, there are no leaks on it. So I am very, very happy with this $50 marketplace line. I even used it to wash my X-Mark. That definitely needed a bath. So I am definitely not going to take this apart. I'm going to keep this as a backup pressure washer, or just for really small jobs. Something I can just pick up and throw it in the back of the truck. I don't have to bring a big John Deere, because the John Deere I can't lift by myself. So, well, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.